Hello people, this is Project Highrise Architects Edition. Now for anyone who watched my previous playthrough, you'll know that I got to a point where I couldn't progress any further because I'd completely run out of money. But I did have some ideas of some buildings I wanted to actually build. So this is going to be my first big build with unlimited everything. I have also turned on 1 or 2 mods, so you'll see those come up. The other thing I'm going to do is I understand, and this is no attack on the game in any way, but it's considerably more fun to watch in fast motion than it is to just watch people play it at a regular speed, unless you're watching them live, because then you can maybe give input on what it is that you want them to do. So this is going to be a lot faster, which means it's no good me commenting live while I'm playing. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to cut to myself in the future. Thank you, me. This is future me. Now, the first thing I'm doing is I'm placing a building in the background. It is right at the back of the large plot. And it has all the electrics, all of the water, the gas, the TV and the phone. They're all there. Those massive junction boxes will take for everything that I'm going to build here. I'm also going to use this very back building as just like a holding centre for offices that I'm not sure where I'm going to put them yet. And I start by relocating the building so I can actually increase the operations, and then I place all the rest of the handshake buildings so that I can get upgrades for all of them, except the hotel, because you need to have the hotel lobby, which I don't have yet. So this is me working out the sizes and the constraints for my first building. As always, if you watch my last one, you'll understand that I like to have a lift with the water and the gas running up one side and the electricity and the phone running up the other side. I think they go well together, but I'm also going to have a set of steps running up the next one, and that'll be the end of that building. I've gone into the next building. That is kind of the central plaza for the structures that I am building, and it will all make sense as you see them grow. I have then started on my third and final building, and I have to make sure I get it the right length because I want all the right type of buildings and rooms in it. That's right, I measured the amount of rooms that I need. Now the placement of that lift is wrong, and it takes me a couple attempts to get it in the right place, but I get there eventually. And that is the layout. There it is. Now, no surprise, I am very OCD about what I want where. Now, I've placed the air conditioning unit in the hotel on the right because the shopping mall on the left won't need air conditioning. There you can see it. That is the basement for the shopping mall. I have storage for all the shops and the 2 bins. And now I have just placed a maintenance room underneath and a mall security and information centre, and they build up a nice little entryway for my lobby with all the shops and food courts all above. You see, now no one needs to go into the mall security unless they have to, because it's out of the way. It's in its own little area and no one is ever going to need to see it. So I like the way I've done that. It's hidden away. I'm now going to do 6 floors for shops. The stairs and the lifts and all the power and water points needed all the way up. And you're probably wondering, I wonder what that middle section's for. That is for something that I've loved that I've done, but I'm not going to tell you about that just yet. I can now do a lobby, and yes, I've realised for the first time that I've put the lift in the wrong place, so I've rearranged it, move it all around, still in the wrong place. I'll find that out in a minute, because I've now got myself a hotel lobby. I can actually put down the last handshake building, And that will then let me do all the upgrades. I've now basically got everything that I need. And as you can see, I have myself a lobby and then a baggage claim. You've got to have the baggage claim by the lobby. And this is where I realise I'm out by one again. So I check, the housekeeping should fit here with the big elevator next to it. But when I actually put the housekeeping there, there's a gap. So I've got to delete them all again and do it once more, but this is in the right place now. So there we go. The lifts are now all in and in the right places. I have food service on the bottom left and housekeeping on the bottom right. I have bottled water and I have another room. I think it's a large maintenance room. Yes, a large maintenance room. It's making sure that all of the... I put a small maintenance room in as well, so that any maintenance that needs doing, they will do it immediately. And I've got myself a couple of bin collectors, because you need bin collectors in all the separate buildings. And now that the floors are starting to be done on the mall, I'm going to put a mall information spot in the entry of every floor, because they need to know what is on which floor. So you have to have, you are here, blah, 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 on every single floor. And I'm going to put it right next to the elevator so that they can see exactly where it is. And you can see it's all coming together nicely. I'll put some nice corridors in. Takes me a while to, consider which ones I want to do. But I try and keep the theme running from the lobby up to the corridors. I've also got a very specific way of doing these, because the top 6th floor has to be shops that won't be affected by a smell, because there will then be 4 food court floors. And the only shops that will not be affected by smell are the smallest shops. So I put 4 of them on this floor to make sure that the food doesn't go down and the people get angry and annoyed. I then start looking at what shops can go where, but it's going to take me a little... I don't want to put the shops in yet. I then put the final 2 floors. Now, the final 2... The reason this building is this shape is for the final 2 floors. It is an idea that I've wanted to do since I went to Japan, actually. I went to Japan a couple of years ago, and I attended a massive shopping mall which had a specific thing for its entire top floor. I have to put the bins in, so I put them well away from the restaurants, right at the other side of the lifts and the staircases. So the bins are well away. I then also, just for my own I put the smaller food court at the bottom, with the bigger food outlets further down. And here we're going to put in our final big shop. Because of the size of the big all-star shop, it will fit the entire length of the top floor with just an elevator. So that is it. That is all that there is on that top floor. See, I'm now trying to rearrange some of the floors to try and fit in certain buildings. And we're going to have 2 boardrooms with a couple of common rooms at the end, and then some recycle bins right at the end, so they're on the same floor. And then we're going to have a room which organises the boardrooms above the baggage claim, so that way they can organise the 2 boardrooms. And it's lovely. And look at that, it's all coming along very nicely. That looks very nice and organised. So now we are going to do rooms. I have, again, a very specific layout for the rooms. And again, when I say specific layout, that's me and my stupid head saying they have to be this way. You have to start with what I consider to be small rooms, and then small fancy, then medium and small, and then medium and small fancy, and then medium and large fancy, and you work it up that way as you progress up the hotel to the more expensive, fancier rooms at the top. So now my mall is finished, but I don't want to put shops in yet until I know I've started getting people visiting. And once I've started putting rooms in, you will then get people visiting. But now you are going to see one of the mods I added. Because you can't have what I've done here and not have the mod. That's right. You saw it there. It's a McDonald's. This middle section is a train station. It's a transport hub. And you have to walk through the McDonald's to get to the stations. Because if you've ever been on a train station ever, you will know that actually the train station has to go through McDonald's, because that's the way it goes. So I'm now considering what I'm having where. And I'm going to rearrange a few bits and pieces here and there, but I'm now choosing kind of the shops that I want to put in. I'm also checking, because some shops need, like that is a copier, a file copier, so you've got to make sure you've got that. Some of them want a janitorial service, so you've got to make sure that you put that in. It's just checking what it is they're asking for, and then making sure that it's installed in the basement. And there you go. That is, I knew that as long as I put in 2 floors in the middle, it fits. So now I just need to make sure I pick the shops that actually have things that relate to what I'm building down in the basement. And they will build the basement items first, ideally, so the shops won't get angry and kick off. There we go, just fill out some of the corridors. And obviously, yep, I've got to make sure certain things are in place. And now I can install my top floor, which is the most important part. And now we're going to work through all of our restaurants. There's a lot, so you know, it's making sure that you don't pick too much of the same stuff, because my head would explode if they were all the same Chinese noodle bars. There has to be some variety in there. And one of them, I have to have a steakhouse, but also because I'm British, I also have to have a British pub. So I believe the British pub is the 3rd floor out of 4. Now I'm going to decorate my lobby. Going to give myself a nice little art installation. And then a wine tasting booth. And then a nice little car. A couple of chairs. A couple of greenery. And a few spotlights. And there is our lobby to the mall. And now there's the arcade. We have a top floor double arcade and a McDonald's. The McDonald's in our transport hub. So let's go back to the hotel. Slow down that bit. And now, as you can see, I'm going to do 2 floors of normal and 2 floors of deluxe rooms. I feel like if you don't put nice rooms in, if you don't put basic rooms in, people will complain because they can't afford to stay in the expensive rooms. But now we've got people coming in, we are now going to start working on a transport hub. It's very quick, because it is basically an underground station underground, a mainline station above it, and a vending machine next to the underground station. And then we put the bus on the top, and there it is, all sorted. They're going to be angry because I forgot to give them bits and pieces, but they'll get over it. And now I've got to put on a marquee on the front before it will let me continue with the building, because some of the buildings do need a marquee. So I now choose to extend, because I know that I'm going to need a lot more floors. So I'm going to start extending up. And now you'll see that this is by far the most practical. I can't stand it when things don't make sense. It has to be like geometrically sense. I hire a couple of talkers for the room because I've got 2 rooms and I've got a room set up team, but they're not doing anything. So I'm going to set them up now so they can do their thing. The mall and the underground station is now finished. I had to change the vending machine because it was the wrong one for me, but shut up. That's what I do. And now I'm going to work on the next set of floors. And as you can see, it is 2 mediums with a small. And the bus is there now as well. So I'm now going to start working on the actual plaza part outside, which is going to be just very nicely paved where it can be, and some benches. And it looks all lovely. And now literally, I just have my hotel to finish. Everything else is done. So I'm now going to work up slowly, doing 2 medium and 1 small in the middle, with a small on the side. You can see I put another aircon unit, because the aircon works differently to the electric and the gas and the phone and the TV and the water. You can't just put one big unit in and it deals with everything. You have to put the small one in first underground and then have another one in the building somewhere. So that's the kind of the layout that I've done it. And now a couple more floors, because I've still got a fair way to go. You may have noticed I haven't done any entertainment venues yet. They're on their way. You see, my design layout that I kind of constructed in my head, knew roughly what I wanted to do, but didn't know what I would necessarily need. So some of it needed tweaking as I was going along. I decided from here I'm going to have a large and a medium. So this is more fancier. So I'm going to cut off completely the room on the side now. And it is just the centre chunk of rooms now. And again, I'm still technically doing a large and a medium, a large and a medium, and then a fancy large and a fancy medium. So I've still got basic and fancy for all the rooms. And there they are. They've come to do their talks. They're both on the same time. Quite a lot of people are piling on in. Slow that down. And now we're going to continue to work up. You see, this is where I start to struggle a little bit, because if I'm being completely honest, I don't actually know how many entertainment venues I need to do to get the super large rooms. Now, as you can see, the rooms are coming along nicely, but I've put a little patio area and I put one on this side. But I realised that if I'm being honest, I actually, I only want one of each of the super fancy rooms. One is the honeymoon suite, one is the president suite. I only want one of each. I do not want more than that, because that's what they are. They are super fancy rooms. So they get their own fancy corridor leading to their fancy rooms. But I've never actually built one, so I don't know how many entertainment venues they need to unlock. I've got enough restaurants for them, but I genuinely don't know about the entertainment venues, so I need to just keep building. I've stopped the cargo lift because I don't need to bring housekeeping or the dinner service or any of that up to these floors, because these are now just entertainment floors. I do also have a plan for the roof, which actually I adore, really love. But basically the plan is, before I put anything on the roof, I am actually going to build the entertainment venues, and then see if it's enough. If it's enough, then great, I will then stop and put my roof on. If it's not, I've got to keep going up and keep building more. I also don't like space that's not being used, so I put a common room in that one little gap. So literally, if you get off on that floor, there is only a common room. That is it. But I can't get rid of that, and I don't want there to be space there that's not being used. A blank corridor wouldn't make sense to me, whereas a common room makes sense. And now the gap between the presidential suite and the entertainment venues is the spa. And I've left the gap there so that the people in the presidential suite don't complain about the noise. You see, I did think about it. And I don't know about you, but I feel like the presidential suite should be fancier than the honeymoon suite. So I put the honeymoon suite first and the presidential suite second. And you see, it won't let me do the honeymoon suite. So I know I need to do at least one more entertainment venue. And to take no risks, I'll stick in a second double-sized casino. Because then it should let me. So I do exactly what I did with the one below it. I put a nice little glass corridor to get in, and I put another common room in the gap above it, because I'm not going to have space there, and then it will let me. So that is the roof. I can now make sure it will definitely be the roof. So I give it a rooftop fancy restaurant, and I mean dead on balls fancy. I'll book a couple of entertainers because those rooms don't get used otherwise. And there it is, look at that. Now, I don't like the sound of either of those, plus I specifically want right-facing outdoor space, because what's the point of having it if there's no right-facing outdoor space? So I cancel the two that are there, and I wait for it to rebook more people. I then discover that people are complaining there's not enough sauna space. So I'm going to stick another sauna in the basement. I also need a limo service, and I need a flower arranging service. So I put more floors in the basement to make sure that I need those. There's the flower service. See, the flower service is now up and running. The spa is now in. The limo service will only go above ground, so I realise it has to go up here. So I'm going to remove those rooms and remove the outdoor area and just shift them all up one. And then I wait for them to get rid of the debris. And you see, now I can get myself an outdoor restaurant with a right-facing outdoor area. And now there you go, I can put limo service, and I can put the other two buildings above them, so I'm not missing anything at all. It's all still there. There are the two rooms. They've just been placed up one. And there's my... Now, I lost electricity, I think it was. So my second casino actually stopped and left. So that was annoying. Okay, so that is it. That is my hub there. I have myself a train station, an underground station with a vending machine, and you have to go through the McDonald's to get to them, because that's how it works. And now the lobby has a nice wine tasting area. It has a car, and it has an art installation. They walk through the information service and where everything is. The security room is above them, so no one will ever know. I then have a bin collectors, and they're nicely next to the lift so that people can take them straight there. I then have a small maintenance office, together with a computer and IT repairs, probably for the very top floor, we'll need that, together with a janitorial service, a dry cleaners service, and a commercial printers. And then as you can see from the storage, all 15 units are being used. Now we'll take a look at floors 1 and 2. And as you can see, we have some fancy antiques, and then a fancy jewelers, followed by a department store. And then above them we have bags and suitcases, because which mall can you not buy bags and suitcases? So going up, we've now got a phone store and a record store. We've then got ourselves a double toy store and a hip, edgy clothes store. That's always fancy to have. We've then got ourselves a flower store and a homewares. Now, I don't know about you, but there's always a really fancy, nice kitchenware type store in most malls. And right at the end of that floor, we have a bookstore. It's antique books, apparently, so why the hell not? Above them, we have ourselves a general clothes store. We then have ourselves a watch and jewellery repair store, and we have ourselves a pet store, and then we come on to the food. So now we've got a whole selection of decent, nice, quick, fast food. And then we go up one floor and we have our sports bar. Looks very busy. And then right at the end we have our British pub, and I love the fact that they're smoking and drinking beer. Fantastic. That is very British. We then have a couple of small outlets, which is then followed by our very fancy, expensive steakhouse, which I was not expecting to look like this. It's very weird chairs for a restaurant. And then on the top floor, we have our very expensive food place, which actually looks like a dump, so we probably need to get the maintenance staff to have a look at it. And we have ourselves our last fancy restaurant. And then on the top floor, we have our arcade. So that is the mall. Look at that. I specifically wanted it so that the arcade was the only thing on the top floor, and there it is. That looks fantastic, and that is our mall. Okay, and now the hotel. We have the hotel lobby right next to the baggage claim. Now above the baggage claim, we have our entertainment setup team, because then they're out of the way and no one sees them up there. And then we have 2 entertainment rooms, followed by 2 general areas and some recycling bins. So we're going to go down before we go up. We've got our water storage, as well as a large and then a small maintenance room and the 2 bin collectors. Then we have our underground spa and our flower service. I'm going to get rid of all of this because we don't need any of that. And I'm going to make that into a corridor. There we go. And now we've got ourselves a building. We've got ourselves the booking room, essentially, followed by the building maintenance, together with a bunch of rooms, as well as the limo service. And then as we come up, you can see the rooms, and we have the outdoor little balcony, which is just there for people to have a little wander if they wish. And then you see we've got our fancy rooms. What's happened to that? These common areas, they're like... Oh, you can actually glass over the common areas. That's weird. Alright. Well, yeah, so we've got the common areas and the spa. Then we've got a couple of nightclubs. And we've got 3 casinos. A small and 2 large. And then right on the roof, we have our very fancy, top of the range, balcony restaurant. I would not want to sit on that balcony. Those 2 women are really taking their lives into their hands, aren't they? You could knock... Oh, wow, that's... Not only would that be high up, but yeah, that would not be very nice for anyone who has a head for heights. Although saying that, I did have dinner halfway up the Eiffel Tower last year, and it was fantastic. So you know what? I probably would have dinner where they are. But there you go. There it is. That is the hotel there, all finished. There is the transport hub, and there is my shopping mall. Now, I'm going to zoom in on the entertainment, and I will cut in to when they are going to be performing. It should be any minute now. So I just want to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. This has been my build. It is exactly what I thought it would be. And now, if you look, I am making one hell of a hefty profit. I'm making nearly £12,000 a day, and that, I'm sorry, but that goes to show that if I had the opportunity, I could break through it and I could definitely make a profit. I do have some more ideas, and there we go. Look at that. We've got ourselves an Elvis impersonator and a lovely lounge singer. It looks like no one is interested in the Elvis impersonator at all. Oh no, hold on, here they come. There are some people. There we go. It's a bit better now. I thought the guy was going to be all on his own, so that was a bit of a concern. But yeah, there we go. I do have some more ideas. Obviously, I didn't really want to do offices or apartments in this because it was very much a hotel and a shopping mall with a transport hub. That was the idea, and that's what we did. There it is. It's massive, it looks fantastic, and in my mind, that's how it has to be. I can't have anything that doesn't look right. I just think it's perfect. You know, that's fantastic. And that's the kind of thing you can do when you get this version of the game, because it has all the extra add-ons and downloads that it gives you the ability to just run wild and build what you want to build. So, thank you very much for watching. This has been Project Highrise Architects Edition. For anyone who watched my previous video, I skipped through some time and it never goes in the plus. So that is dead. I am going to have to start new. I'm going to have to start from scratch and try that again. Please like and subscribe. Please take a look at some of my other videos. And I will see you again next time.